Samuel Sharp is a race car driver. I was his most trusted navigator. But I betrayed him right before the final, took the money, and vanished without a trace. When we met again, he grabbed me by the throat, his voice laced with hatred. Looking at me like that, you think I'm going to forgive you? I gave him a heartless laugh. You're a champion now. Can't a guy get a look? Every time you look at me, it makes me sick. So petty. But just as you wish. Very soon, I won't be able to see at all. A luxury car rolled into the shop. Alex clicked his tongue in admiration as he washed it. Man, what a sweet ride. The owner must be a real neat freak. Sent it in for just a little dust. I replied casually, aren't all rich people like that? I bet you'd have something to talk about with this guy. Look at this setup, it's totally pro. Maybe you were in the same business back in the day. My hands froze. Thinking of something, I said, forget it. That'd be too awkward if we were. When he comes to pick it up, you handle it. Alex pouted. Look at you, what a chicken. Before he could finish, the guy at the front desk yelled, customers here. I finished wiping the rearview mirror, dropped the towel, and got ready to bolt. But a glimpse of the person in my peripheral vision froze me in place. My feet felt tangled in vines, unable to move an inch. Couldn't be Samuel? I'd forgotten how long it had been. So many days and nights, yet thinking back, it felt like yesterday. I never imagined we'd meet again like this. He looked at me, his gaze icy and devoid of any emotion, like he was looking at a stranger. But I guess that was fair. Our relationship now was probably worse than strangers. As Samuel Sharp's former navigator and former boyfriend, reuniting in a place like this stung more than a little. I remembered him, his eyes red-rimmed, asking me why, and how did I answer him? Don't be so naive. How long is it going to take you to achieve that pipe dream of being a champion? Without a title, you're nothing. I betrayed him, took the money, and left. And now, here he was, an actual champion. This was really awkward. When enemies meet, their eyes blaze with hatred. Seeing me now, he probably wanted to tear me limb from limb. But looking at his completely indifferent expression, I had another thought. He probably couldn't even be bothered. Getting involved with someone like me again would be a stain on Samuel Sharp's name. Since he'd seen me, there was no point in hiding. I sighed and resigned myself to walking over. Standing next to Samuel was a young guy, chattering away, full of life and energy. I recognized him. He was Samuel's new navigator. Equally talented, I'd heard. The car's washed. You can take it whenever. The young guy stared at me for a few seconds, stunned. You're Vicky? My brow twitched. He recognized me? Hey there, kiddo. You goddamn traitor. Why did you have to be the one washing our car? What a jinx. Geez, harsh. I'm sorry. If you'd like, I can offer you another car wash free of charge with a different attendant. The kid was about to say more. Samuel cut him off. No need. Cody, go get the car. The kid, Cody, grumbled an okay. Following the sound of his voice, my eyes landed on Samuel again. He changed a lot. Thinner than 3 years ago, colder. As if he'd shed all his youthful awkwardness, revealing the pride of a top-tier driver. Long time no see, Samuel. Long time no see is such a fake thing to say. I thought that even as the words left my mouth. After all, we both knew it would have been better if we'd never seen each other again. Looks like a sly fox, doing something like that and acting like he doesn't care.
So infuriating, so disgusting.
Cody's muttering faded into the distance. I didn't care. I'd heard versions of that for years. Samuel hadn't said much since he walked in. He just stood there, tall and immaculate, a stark contrast to my grimy self. A wave of self-consciousness washed over me, and I turned to leave. Samuel called out from behind me, Vicky. I turned back, and a sudden force shoved me against the wall. A hand closed around my neck. I opened my eyes, and the thick hatred in Samuel's gaze made my heart skip a beat. Do you regret it? Hearing that, I froze. I'd heard Samuel ask me that countless times in my dreams. But every single time I'd give the same answer. You know me, I never regret anything I do. Samuel's voice was a soft whisper. Is that so? What a shame. You took all that money, and you still ended up like this. His eyes turned glacial. Serves you right. I stared at him, motionless. The constricting pain in my neck not enough to make me fight back. A sneer flickered across Samuel's face. Looking at me like that? You think I'm going to forgive you? I paused, then laughed like I didn't have a care in the world. You're a champion now. Can't a guy get a look? Every time you look at me, it makes me sick. With that, he let go and walked away without a backward glance. Watching his back blur, I was surprised to find that his insults didn't even sting. It seems these 3 years really have forged my heart into an iron fortress. Yeah, I deserve it. Seeing Samuel yesterday felt like a dream. The next day, I went to work, and the shop owner looked at me uneasily. Hey, Vicky, after this month, I'm gonna have to let you go. We're not really short-staffed anymore. I'll give you an extra half-month's pay. Seeing I wasn't saying anything, he added, as if taking pity, did you piss someone off? That's when I truly realized yesterday wasn't a dream. It didn't take much to guess. Getting me fired was almost certainly Samuel's doing. The motive was obvious. Revenge. My life was a wreck anyway. He could have his revenge. The boss told me to take the day off. I took the chance to see the doctor I'd been putting off for so long. Last time, he told me my eye condition was a chronic, hereditary disease. Surgery was the only option. Without intervention, my vision would just get worse, the periods of blurriness longer, until I went completely blind. And this time, the diagnosis was the same. I asked him how much the surgery would cost. He said, at least $30,000. $30,000. Funny. That's exactly how much I took when I left the team. But I hadn't touched a cent of it in 3 years. When I came out of the hospital, I saw Alex waiting for me at the entrance. His face was grim. He punched me lightly in the shoulder. Why didn't you tell me you were getting fired? I just smiled, unconcerned. You were gonna find out soon enough anyway. What's your plan now? Haven't thought about it. Your eyes, what did the doctor say? Surgery, and even then, it's not a 100% guarantee, I said. Let's just leave it for now. Alex was one of the few people who knew my past. He once said I reminded him of his stubborn younger brother. That's why we'd been like real brothers all these years. I asked a friend of mine. Their hotel might be hiring. I'll take you to check it out in a couple of days. I didn't refuse. I'm not above needing help, and I need the money. If someone was willing to help, I had no reason to say no. On Saturday, Alex drove me to the hotel. A front desk job. The pay and conditions were decent, about the same as the shop. As we were leaving, walking through the parking garage, I thanked him. Thanks, man. Seriously. What's there to be formal about between us? Just as I was about to say more, a car's headlights flashed twice in front of us. Excuse me, gentlemen. I turned to see a stone-faced Samuel walking toward us. If you have something to say, you can go upstairs and book a room for a couple of hours. You can get as cozy as you want. But don't stand here, blocking other people's cars. Hey you. Alex's brow furrowed. Why do you have to be such an asshole? Samuel ignored Alex. He looked at me, his face a mask of derision. You never cease to amaze me, Vicky. Just got fired, and you've already found a new job so quickly. He bit down on the word job, dragging it out, his sarcasm palpable. Impressive. Just what I'd expect from you. Alex's expression changed as he caught on. He was about to explode. What the hell are you talking about? You just go around making shit up? Why don't you tell us, Vicky? I stopped Alex. I looked straight at Samuel. Because that's who I am. Shameless, heartless, and willing to do whatever it takes. So, you see me for what I am. Why do you keep showing up, Samuel? I'm not an idiot. Once is a coincidence. But this many times I had to admit it. Samuel's eyes were on me, constantly, waiting for me to slip up so he could destroy me in one fell swoop. After Samuel left, it finally dawned on Alex. That was the driver you used to partner with? He's got top-tier looks, but his mouth is foul. Sounds like there's a big misunderstanding between you two. You're really not going to explain? No point, I replied. Explain what? That I kept my illness a secret so he could live out his racing dream? Making him feel guilty would just cause more trouble for me. I'm not interested in some epic melodrama. Besides, I didn't want to be his dead weight anymore. In our hardest year, that's what I was. We'd split our last piece of bread, but Samuel never thought of giving up on me. In the freezing cold of winter, we lay in our rented room. No heat, just the two of us crammed under one blanket. Our combined warmth made us sweat, and in that moment, love bloomed. Samuel had a talent for racing and was discovered by the right people. When he joined the team, he insisted on bringing me along. You could say that without Samuel, there'd be no Vicky, and I know him so well. If he knew I was sick, he'd drop racing without a second thought to get me treated. I didn't want that, so I left, and that's why he hates me so much. He hates my betrayal, especially that I betrayed him in the year he loved me most, as if everything he'd given was just a joke. He hates me, and he has every right to. After that, Samuel didn't show up for a long time. I saw on an entertainment news site that the GT team was competing in this season's championship. And the driver was, of course, Samuel. The rally was at Eagles Peak. Early in the morning, I heard my colleagues talking. Did you hear the GT team's driver is staying at our hotel? It's so rare. Their driver, Samuel Sharp, is super handsome. Just seeing that handsome face gives me the energy to get through the day. I couldn't help but smile. This was a high-end hotel. We'd hosted plenty of race teams, even celebrities. Why were they so obsessed with this cold-faced grump? As my mind wandered, someone tapped twice on the counter in front of me. I looked up. Wasn't it the very same Samuel I was just maligning in my head? Checking in. Cody saw me and frowned deeply. How is it you again? You're like a bad penny. My apologies, I said, the apology practiced and smooth. Would you like me to get someone else to check you in? No need. Once again, it was Samuel who refused. I want you. Check us in. 1 room. 2 beds? 1 bed. My fingers paused on the keyboard. My heart felt like it was being gently squeezed. A suffocating ache. Those words were so familiar. But times have changed, and the person standing next to him was no longer me. Cody looked confused. Samuel, the two of us in one. Yes. What's wrong with sharing a bed? Samuel and I are super close, the best of friends. Hurry up. Of course. I pushed the key card across the counter, the same smile fixed on my face. Welcome. I hope you have a pleasant night. I don't know if they had a pleasant night. All I know is I didn't sleep a wink. It wasn't because I was jealous of Samuel sharing a room with his navigator. It was because Samuel was being a complete pain in the ass. Last night, 1 minute he was saying the towels weren't clean, the next he was missing a toothbrush. I must have run up to his room 4 or 5 times before things finally quieted down. The next morning, before I was even fully awake, there was a loud knocking at my door in the staff dorm. The manager sternly told me to get up. Vicky, the guests in 353 are looking for you. They said something's missing from their room and they suspect you. I got dressed and went to the lobby. Samuel and Cody were sitting on the sofa, one with a cold stare, the other glaring daggers at me. Excuse me, what seems to be missing? A Vacheron Constantine watch. It's extremely important to Samuel. Without permission, we would never touch a guest's personal belongings. If you don't trust me, you can search my room, go through my bag. I won't stop you. Cody wouldn't let it go. Who knows if you've already hidden it? Mr. Cody, innocent until proven guilty. I sighed, suddenly feeling exhausted. I didn't take your things, I swear. But you were the only one who came to our room last night. Samuel looked at me, his gaze like a hawk's. Only you, Vicky. I was suspended. I knew, of course, that this was Samuel's doing. Back in my rented room, I thought for a long time. Finally, I decided to go find Samuel and talk. Even if it wasn't a talk, even if it was just him humiliating me, I didn't care. As long as he'd stop tormenting me. To my surprise, seeing him was easy. It was as if he'd been waiting for me all along. I thought that as I walked into his studio. Samuel, what do you really want? As I asked, it felt like all my exhaustion from the past few days spilled out with the words. There was a strange relief in it. What did he want me to do? Kneel and apologize or leave the city and disappear forever? He didn't answer. Instead, he asked that same question again. Vicky, do you regret it? I don't regret it, but I am sorry. I'm sorry I hurt you, Samuel. I really was sorry, though he probably didn't need my apology. Sure enough, Samuel's face was a mask of indifference. You just asked me what I want. I've decided, he said. Vicky, you're coming back. You're going to be my navigator again. I thought I'd misheard, but I hadn't. Go back to the GT team and be Samuel's navigator again? The GT team had changed its name, but the crew was almost all the same people from 3 years ago. Most of them knew about the history between me and Samuel. In this situation, he wanted me to go back? I asked softly, is this to humiliate me? He smirked. You can think of it that way, yes. Samuel only gave me 2 days to prepare. In reality, he had his car parked downstairs from my apartment the very next morning. I sighed and put my pathetically small bag in the trunk. Do you have to be in such a rush? A rush to see me humiliated? Yes, a rush. Those 2 words shut me up completely. After 3 years, I was walking back into Samuel's race team. I pushed open the main door. Pairs of eyes turned to stare at me in unison. I felt my entire body go taut, like a string about to snap. Backup navigator, Vicky. After that brief introduction, Samuel walked out. The room was dead silent. After a long time, someone finally broke it with a holy shit. Vicky? The navigator who betrayed Samuel for 30 grand? Vicky? That's him, right? Looks like him. Damn, has Samuel turned into some kind of bleeding heart saint? Why bring him back? If it were me, I'd want to tear him to pieces to feel better. My breath hitched, and my vision started to blur again. I subconsciously moved toward the door, looking for something to lean on. A hand grabbed my arm. Where are you going? Vicky, come with me to the training track. Samuel put me in the passenger seat. The enclosed space of the race car, surprisingly, gave me a moment to breathe. I held the familiar pace notebook in my hands. Familiar, yet so foreign. Samuel hadn't said a word since getting in the car. At first, his speed was normal. But as we went on, the slopes got steeper, the turns sharper. And suddenly, he was driving faster. Much faster. I gripped the grab handle, my knuckles white. I glanced instinctively at his expressionless profile. Finally, I couldn't take it anymore. Samuel, are you insane? Screech. The sharp sound of tires skidding across the ground. The engine roared in protest. Samuel took off his helmet and looked at me. Maybe it was my imagination, but I thought his eyes were a little red. I've driven this road countless times. After you left, I drove it alone. Over and over until I'd memorized the exact angle to turn the wheel at every single moment. It's burned into my brain crystal clear. Even without you, I can do it. A dead silence. After his outburst, Samuel frowned. As if snapping out of a trance, he got out of the car and lit a cigarette. You can do it, I murmured. I know. You always could. Samuel didn't hear me. Of course, there was no way I was actually going to be Samuel's navigator. So I successfully became the team's invisible man. No one paid any attention to me or bothered to waste their energy on me. I wanted to take a day off, but couldn't find anyone to ask. So I just picked a morning and went to the hospital to get my medication. When I came back that afternoon, Samuel threw a massive fit. He thought I just left without telling anyone. After that, I didn't dare go out without reporting it first. I stayed at the garage doing odd jobs. Cleaning up, organizing parts, things like that. After all, I'd done this work before. It wasn't hard. But today, while I was inspecting parts, my eyes were acting up badly. I barely managed to finish when another team member walked in and glanced at me. You done inspecting? Yeah, they're all good. He looked inside, and his expression suddenly changed. Vicky, are you disgusting or what? What? This is a critical part, and you're telling me you inspected it? His voice was frantic. Are you not done screwing Samuel over? You want to hurt him again? My vision was still blurry. I frowned and apologized instinctively. Sorry, let me check again. I was about to reach for it. A powerful shove sent me flying. Get lost. Caught off guard. My head slammed into the car's undercarriage. My vision plunged into total darkness. Once, twice. I blinked, bewildered. Couldn't see. I really couldn't see anymore. What's going on? What's all the shouting? A familiar voice came from a short distance away. Hearing Samuel's voice, I instinctively tilted my head, trying to find him. Vicky, don't try to fake an injury. I barely pushed you. What are you putting on an act for? You're a grown man, don't be so fragile. I didn't say anything. The world suddenly felt like a giant spiderweb. I was trapped inside, unable to struggle. Someone touched my hand, seeming to want to pull me up. A wave of fear washed over me, and I smacked their hand away. Stop acting. The person withdrew their hand. Get up yourself. Don't make me say it again. A tense standoff. Then, a small, trembling female voice spoke up from behind. Samuel. He's bleeding. A lot of blood. The world was a cacophony of noise. But a ringing started in my ears, out of my control. The piercing white noise made my head throb violently. It was becoming unbearable. I clutched my head tightly. A cold hand grabbed my wrist. Vicky, get up.
So annoying, so loud.
Don't touch me. Don't touch me. I yanked my hand away and shrank further into the corner. It was as if I had to touch something solid to feel safe. Vicky, Samuel's voice was growing impatient. Stop acting like a child. Get up and come with me. We're going to the hospital to see where you're hurt. I stared blankly, my eyes empty. I slowly raised my head, my voice calm. I can't see. Samuel's brows knitted together. Stop pretending. I've known you for so long. When did you ever have problems with your eyes? I said nothing. The area fell silent. The girl standing nearby waved a hand in front of my face. After a moment, she spoke weakly. Samuel, I think he really can't see. Only then did the expression on Samuel's face slowly change. From suspicion to disbelief. Finally, his face went pale. He grabbed my arm, ignoring my struggles. He scooped me up into his arms and put me in the car. To the hospital. All the way there, even though I couldn't see. I knew how fast Samuel was driving. The wound on the back of my head had only been cursorily treated and was still seeping blood. After all that chaos, my head felt heavy and dull. Finally, I closed my eyes and passed out in the car. When I opened my eyes again, the thick smell of disinfectant filled my nose. Before me was still total darkness. I blinked, bewildered. Not a single glimmer of light. This kind of darkness is terrifying. Terrifying and helpless. I pulled the blanket over my head and curled up, trying to wrap myself in a safe, enclosed space. With my eyes gone, my hearing became exceptionally sharp. I heard arguing outside my room. The voice was familiar. Was that Alex? Outside the room, Alex swung a fist into Samuel's face. He cursed furiously. You son of a bitch! A red mark appeared on Samuel's pale cheekbone. He was expressionless, his voice cold. What right do you have to hit me? As Vicky's lover? Alex's fist was itching to hit him again. I think you're sick in the head. He was so angry he'd completely forgotten what Vicky had told him. Do you have any idea what Vicky did for you? How could you treat him like this? Your conscience must have been eaten by a dog. He took $30,000 and betrayed me for money. Is there anything else I need to know? Alex was trembling with rage. He pulled out his phone, found a video, and shoved it at Samuel. Watch this before you say another word to me. A flicker of scorn crossed Samuel's eyes. He looked down and pressed play. The person in the video was me. It was from when I was first diagnosed with my eye problem. I was already having intermittent spells of blindness. It was obvious I couldn't be Samuel's navigator anymore. But his most important race was right around the corner. If I told him I was sick, he'd drop the race without a second thought. Alex asked me why. I said, because I know him. Because I know him. In the video, my eyes were lifeless, but a small smile played on my lips. It sounds dramatic, but the truth is, no one knows him better than I do. If he finds out I'm sick, he'll definitely drop the race. He's too soft-hearted. He could never abandon me, not the way I abandoned him. So what I'm doing now, it's not a bad thing for him. The star will still shine, even without me. The hospital room door was pushed open from the outside. My ears twitched, and I peeked my head out from under the covers. Alex, is that you? I thought I heard your voice outside. For a long time, no one answered. It's me. Samuel's familiar, cold voice sounded. Why are you calling for him? Hearing it was Samuel, I pulled my head back under the covers. Samuel seemed displeased. He wouldn't let it go. I asked you a question. Why are you calling for him? My voice came out muffled from under the blanket. Are you going to start acting crazy again? Samuel was silent for a moment. Then he uttered a sentence heavy with meaning. Vicky, why? Why what? Alex told me everything. Hearing that, my breath caught. I'd always known Samuel would find out the truth someday, but I never imagined it would be when I was this pathetic. How pitiful. The one person I never wanted to look weak in front of. And in the end, it was still so undignified. There's no reason. I just didn't want to owe you anymore. You didn't want to owe me? Samuel suddenly leaned in close. His warm breath brushed against the side of my face. Even without seeing, I could feel his intense, unavoidable gaze. I reached out to push him away. Samuel grabbed my chin, his other hand gripping my wrist in an iron clamp. I was completely powerless against him now. What you owe me, can you ever pay it back? I can't. It was the truth. After all, without Samuel, Vicky would probably have died long ago. I can't pay it back. But haven't I been trying? I muttered. Samuel let out a cold laugh. Not only can you not pay it back, you turned the tables on me. You're always like this, so self-centered. What gives you the right to make my decisions for me? What gives you the right to do whatever you want? Did you ever once care about my feelings? Or ask what I thought? Vicky, you're always like this. After venting, Samuel slammed the door and left. He must be really angry, I thought. In all the time I'd known him, I'd never seen him so furious. He was always cool and collected. Even during the most intense races, he was the one calming me down. But now, he would never forgive me. I recognized that with total clarity. My heart ached with a numb soreness. But, isn't this what I wanted? I buried my face in the pillow, rubbing away the tears. I don't know how much time passed. The door opened again. Footsteps approached, then stopped by my bed. Get up. Samuel placed a steaming bowl of porridge on the nightstand. Time to eat. I didn't really understand what Samuel was trying to do. After I ate, he cleared away the container. He sat down to the side, showing no intention of leaving. I asked tentatively, aren't you leaving? Samuel raised an eyebrow. In your condition, who else is there to help you besides me? He had a point. I didn't have many friends in the city. Alex was busy with work, he'd just rushed over to see me and had to leave. Other than Samuel, there really was no one. But the fall championship was about to start. Don't you have to train? Samuel paused. I withdrew from the race. What? I nearly jumped out of bed. In disbelief, I asked, why would you quit? I'm staying here. To take care of you. I don't need you to. I refused without a second thought. Then, feeling my tone was too harsh, I softened my voice. If you give up the race for me, then what was the point of anything I did? Go do what you're supposed to do. Stop worrying about me. Okay? Samuel didn't answer for a long time. I thought he'd given in. But in the end, he spat out two cold words. No. Samuel is as stubborn as a mule. And what a coincidence, so am I. I hated him giving up his career for me, just as he hated me making decisions without a word. So we entered a bizarre Cold War. But even so, Samuel still came to my room every day like clockwork. He brought me food, helped me to the bathroom, and even helped me use the toilet. And when it came to showering, he insisted on being right there. Even though I couldn't see, it was unbearably humiliating. Can you get out? I can do it myself. If you fall, it'll be more trouble. Even if it's trouble, I don't need you to take care of it. Shut up. Samuel couldn't be bothered to argue. He reached out to take off my clothes. His strength was much greater than before. My struggles were like a kitten pawing at him. In a flash, I was stripped and put in the water. The warm water soaked my skin. I felt my eyes start to sting. Samuel looked at me and sighed, his tone helpless. Why are you crying now? It's like I'm bullying you. Can you just leave me alone? I wiped away my tears, looked up at him, and put on my fiercest expression. I don't want you around. Don't you get it? I hated myself like this. Hated it so much. Utterly useless. Nothing but a burden. If my eyes don't get better, are you going to take care of me like this for the rest of my life? I'd rather die than be a cripple. Samuel grabbed a towel and lifted me out of the water. As he was drying my hair, I snatched the towel from his hand and threw it on the floor, like a rebellious child. The silence was terrifying, broken only by the sound of our breathing. You really have to be like this, don't you, Vicky? Before I could say anything, a crushing kiss descended on me like a tidal wave. Samuel grabbed my neck and pinned me to the bed. It wasn't a passionate kiss, just pure, vented frustration. I kicked and punched, but I couldn't break free. He was like a wild animal tearing at his prey. I don't know how long it was before he finally let go. Breathing hard, I propped myself up and scrambled backward, as if he were some kind of monster. The way he was, it terrified me. Why do you have to be like this? Fuck, Vicky, don't you get it yet? I don't give a damn about being a racer. I just want to be with you. Don't you fucking get it? Samuel ran a hand through his hair, feeling like Vicky was driving him insane. Why do you always have to be like this, pushing me away again and again? Why are you always so damn self-righteous, thinking you're doing what's best for me? I'm really gonna lose my fucking mind. Samuel vented, his ragged breaths loud in the small room. I clenched the bedsheet beneath me, then slowly let go. I reached out, fumbling in his direction. My fingers brushed the back of his warm hand, and I spoke softly, Samuel. You know you sound like a lovesick idiot, right? This isn't like you at all. So what if I'm a lovesick idiot? You got a problem with that? He was on a hair trigger, there was no reasoning with him. You're being completely unreasonable. You're the one being unreasonable. So, were we really going to act like elementary school kids, arguing over who was more unreasonable? Like right now, you obviously need me, but you have to be stubborn and unreasonably push me away. I retorted instinctively, I never needed you. Samuel choked on his words. But I need you. You don't need me either. The years I wasn't around, you were doing just fine, weren't you? Better even than when I was there. I know that no one truly needs someone else. I wasn't fine at all. Samuel scrubbed his face hard with his hands. My only motivation was to become a top driver. To stand in front of you and ask if you regretted betraying me. If you hadn't, you would have been the one standing by my side. My navigator, Vicky. I wanted to see you regret it, and then I was going to make you pay. What a child. But when you were finally standing in front of me, I thought, if you just said a few soft words, I would forgive you in a heartbeat. Around you, I'm always completely defenseless. So childish. I thought, what top-tier driver? He was just an immature kid who hadn't grown up. Seeing him in so much pain, I thought again. Maybe I really was wrong. It was my fault he was suffering like this. I reached out and cupped Samuel's cheek. I'm sorry. It's okay, Samuel answered quickly. I forgive you. You just focus on getting better. We'll be fine from now on. I've already asked the doctor. With surgery and proper recovery, your eyes will definitely get better. Liar. I couldn't help but smile. When did the doctor ever say definitely? My eye condition was a congenital hereditary disease. Even with surgery, there was no 100% guarantee. If the surgery fails, Samuel cut me off, his tone stubborn. There are no ifs. Even if it fails, I can support you for the rest of our lives. My heart trembled. Are you pitying me? Samuel leaned down and pressed a kiss to the corner of my lips. How am I pitying you? I'm loving you, aren't I? Please, his voice became a plea. Don't leave me with nothing again. The way he buried his face in my lap. It was exactly the same as when he'd first started practicing, when he'd come to me for comfort after a disastrous first race. He still relied on me instinctively, as if there had never been any betrayal, any deception between us. What do you mean, nothing? I sighed, but wrapped my arms around him. Don't be ridiculous. You're a celebrated champion. But without you, I have nothing. Samuel lifted his face. I couldn't see the flash of obsession in his eyes. After we talked everything out, I stopped resisting Samuel's care. Maybe, in front of the person you love, it's okay not to be so strong. But on one condition, he had to go back to training and compete in this year's fall rally. The championship belonged to him, it always should have. He shouldn't give it up for me. Samuel agreed. The day the fall rally started was the same day as my surgery. I prayed silently. If the surgery was a success, I hoped he would be the first person I saw when I opened my eyes. I touched the ring on my right ring finger. The image of Samuel putting it on me floated in my mind. Even without sight, I could picture it. He told me, "You have to wait for me to come back." A strange sense of peace settled over me. The anesthesia was injected. I closed my eyes and let my consciousness fade away. 3 days later, I was sitting up in my hospital bed when Alex burst in, carrying a basket of fruit and a huge bag of snacks. Today was the day they were taking off the bandages. I was incredibly nervous, but I didn't let it show. Alex saw right through me. "Nervous?" he asked, munching on an apple, his tone that of a gleeful spectator. "So, what's your big wish, now that you're getting your sight back?" What wish would I have? I smiled slightly. I hope he wins the championship. Alex knew exactly who he was. He snorted and muttered, "Well, you're about to get your wish." A nurse came in to remove the bandages. Light slowly filtered in. "Open your eyes slowly, don't rush." I blinked. My vision went from blurry to gradually clearer. The moment my sight fully returned, the first thing I saw was Samuel, holding a trophy, standing in front of me with a dazzling smile. "I won. Congratulations. This trophy belongs to both of us." I laughed. Did my moral support help? "I wanted to see you sooner, so I just wanted to drive faster and faster." Hearing him say that, I could feel my face getting warm. Alex coughed discreetly. "Right, well, I'll be going now." Samuel looked at me, a flicker of nervousness in his eyes. "Vicky, are you willing to come back and be my navigator again? Fate isn't a downpour you can avoid by staying indoors." From the moment Samuel and I met again at that garage, the threads of our destinies were once again tightly intertwined. We had fought side by side. After everything we'd been through, how could we lack the courage to return to the track? I took his hand, our fingers lacing together tightly. "I am